The Nectar of Devotion by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The 17th chapter is called Ecstatic Love. Uttama Abhikari is the perfect devotion that springs forth from bliss. On the way to bliss, there may be some discomfort or even pain, which is part of the healing process. Now, this devotion is practiced through either carrying out things or by focusing on results. Humility doesn't come easy for everyone. Now, if we work on our company, our choices of company, our choices of media and other attention, that is key towards forming these changes in our lives. And another thing that we should turn towards is the idea of mercy beyond cause and effect. There is the development of attachment to the practices that are done as groups of devotees. And the highest mental platform is developed through building those pathways. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.28 reminds us that there are seasons that are better for things than otherwise. The regularity of certain times, like the twilight, just hearing or witnessing the worship of others, gradually puts us in the position where we want to be such devotees ourselves. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.22 reminds us that the potency of the supremacies of divinity can be experienced. A lot of people will repeat names and names and names, but those names can be realized, can be felt. One of our goals is to spiritualize the lives of those who witness unto us. The Padma Purana mentions that some must give up their sleep. Some may do things for a long time before they actually develop the sense where they're not just fulfilling a requirement, but they're a devotee beyond the sense of checking off things on a list. The Naradiya Purana reminds us that we should deal with the impurities in our intentions, in the thoughts that go through us. The Skanda Purana reminds us to work towards being at a state where we do not want to stop, not for a second, the being in pure devotional service. The Sukha Samhita reminds us to regard the different symptoms. I've talked about how we have over 50 opioids. We have chemicals and chemical centers in our bodies, and our heads in particular, that produce these changes in consciousness. It's important to regard the different stages of consciousness to take advantage of that. Srimad Bhagavatam 7:426 reminds us that our path should be a natural one. But this natural path may not seem like such to those who have twisted away, right? And truly being upon it is not always something that we can describe to others. But we should have empathy for others as we encourage them, as we convey the spiritual life to them. The Skanda Purana reminds us that people of any ancestry, any material position, they can attain to the truest elevation of status, where we can get all the instruction we need and more. And some will have consciousness of what happened before they were born. Not just belief or reference to what others say. Some will actually know. There are different groups. Some of these titles and categories are real. But let's get beyond that in some sense. That's why everybody shows up to the place of worship. And if they're capable and they're clean enough and they're not forming offenses and stuff like this by their presence, they can all approach the transcendence. And just like I heard in so many Sufi gatherings, is you don't know who in the gathering that things are going to be for more than anybody else, or more than everybody else combined there. There are some experiences that stick with you, whether you remember them or not. So will you attain samadhi? Will you maintain it if you do?